Welcome back to K Sports TV. This is my recap for the Week 12 matchup. Vikings, Lions in Detroit, Thanksgiving Thursday, the first game of this Week 12 schedule, and it was a good one. Low scoring, but still a good game overall. Lions with the victory, 16-13, improving them to 7-4 on the season, giving them a one-game lead over the Vikings in this NFC North crown. And as for the Vikings, they fought a 6-5. They have now lost 5 of their last 6 games, and now are in second place on the outside, looking into this playoff picture. For the Lions, this is a great victory. This not only gets them ahead of all the teams in the division at first place, gives them the tiebreaker edge over the Vikings, as they have now swept the Vikings. And for the Vikings, losing the tiebreaker and being swept means they're not only a game behind, they're probably a game and a half behind the Lions, and it looks like the Lions will take this division. I actually predicted the Vikings to win this game 20-17, so I was right about the Lions scoring 16-17 points, but Minnesota's offense, I don't know why I predicted them to score 20, but I did, and they couldn't get it done. Sam Bradford had a late interception, but I don't think it was entirely his fault, because the offensive line is terrible. There's no running game. He's asked to do a lot, and he's Sam Bradford. And they put up 13, and they lost. Why I predicted them to win, I don't know. But getting into the game itself, first half the game started out not as how I expected, as Detroit goes down the field, goes up 7, and then Minnesota goes down the field and ties it up. And you're thinking, oh, is this a shootout? The final score being 16-13, obviously it was not. After that, it severely died down, as the first quarter was nothing like the rest of the game, especially the second quarter, where there was only 3 points scored by the Lions, as they took a 10-7 lead into halftime. But that score, to me, was deceiving, because I thought the Lions in the first half were much better than the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings defense do not know what they were doing, as I thought Matthew Stafford was able to move the ball a lot. But leading into my next point of the first half was fourth down stops. I believe the Lions turned the ball over twice on fourth down, and the Vikings also did as well. But yeah, if it wasn't for those fourth down stops, I thought the Lions, who dominated the first half yardage-wise, I think the Vikings had like 80 yards of offense in this first half. The Lions should have been up more than 10-7. But the Vikings defense, which started off slow, kept them in this game, because this game should not have been 10-7.5. But the Vikings stayed in the game with no offensive production, took a 10-7 deficit to the half. And in the second half, it was a completely different game. Matthew Stafford he didn't play bad per se, but his numbers weren't very good. Overall, he had 17 incompletion versus 23 completions on the day, which isn't great. It's above 50, but below 60. Fourth quarter, I thought he played better, but third quarter, I thought the Vikings defense stepped up and proved why they are elite, especially with the pressure. Matthew Stafford had no time. The Vikings offensive line is bad, but this Lions offensive line, which is decent, started looking like the Vikings offensive line, because the Vikings defense was pressuring Stafford, and they didn't score in the whole third quarter. So great quarter, and I thought second half, mostly the Vikings defense played well enough to win, but again, their offense stuttering. They needed plays, gimmicky plays, Patterson sweeps and stuff like that. A lot of underneath routes. Sam Bradford was 31 of 37 today for 224 yards. He had no touchdowns but an interception. I believe he completed 80% of his passes, maybe 70 something. That's just off my top of my head. 31 divided by 37, I don't know what it is. But a lot of those were underneath routes. So I do think Sam Bradford's a good quarterback, but I think his numbers are skewed, as the Vikings can't move the ball. Moving towards the fourth quarter, this is when the Lions do what they do. They were down, actually, 13-10. Like I said, they did not score the whole of the third quarter, and they found themselves down 13-10 midway through the fourth. Got the ball, and Matthew Stafford, who I thought didn't have the best third quarter, in the fourth quarter, he made some nice throws. There was one throw where he jumped in the air when there was like 5 guys trying to sack him. He made some sidearm throws. Matthew Stafford in the fourth quarter. His stats don't show it, but played big, led them down to a field goal against, I think, a top 5 defense. And then big play Slay, as they call him, got the ball back. Sam Bradford, I thought, made his first mistake. I thought he played flawless. He did everything he was asked to do, even though it wasn't much. But he did not see Darius Slay. It was a zone. Darius Slay jumps the route, returns it, almost fumbles, but he was ruled down. Matt Prater comes and kicks his second field goal in a matter of 30 seconds, giving the Lions a 3-point lead. As I have gotten my first prediction of my career, you can say, wrong, as I had the Vikings winning. Lions pull out a big win in their playoff hopes, 16-13. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys taking care of business, 31-26 in Jerry World. Another of my predictions that I have gotten wrong. So I've started off 0-2, but both games I felt the team I predicted, being the Vikings and the Redskins, could have won, especially in this game, as the Redskins fall 31-26. And I feel like even though the score was about 31-19, Cowboys won convincingly in the end. Mistakes made in the first half, particularly by Jay Gruden, I thought cost Redskins a chance to draw closer to my Dallas Cowboys, as I am a lifelong Dallas Cowboys fan. But I think where we played well today, if Jay Gruden made better decisions, I do feel Redskins may have won this game. Getting into the game itself, if you look at some stats, Kirk Cousins, 41 for 53, 449 yards, 3 touchdowns. Did exactly what I said he would do to our defense. Thought he would put up more points, and I'll get to that in a second. But him statistically, he did what he needed to do, putting up 400 yards. Looks like, I believe he was third in passing yards coming into this game. No surprise there. 3 touchdowns. I believe 2 to Jordan Reed and 1 to Deshaun Jackson on a 60-yard busted coverage by the rookie Anthony Brown. As far as the running game, Fat Rob Kelly only had 37 yards, on 14 carries, as Washington didn't run the ball as much, even though they tried to use the Cowboys' formula of ball control against them, as Washington actually won the ball control but didn't run the ball well, which is you don't see that combination. But Redskins tried to out-Cowboys the Cowboys, and they didn't work because, most importantly, they didn't score points. And you say, they scored 26, that's not enough. I had them scoring 38, and that's how much they needed to win this game, 38. As I predicted them to win 38-30. Cowboys did their part, put up 31 like I predicted. But Redskins' offensive efficiency or red zone efficiency was absolutely terrible. Missed field goals, just bad play calling also. And that bad play calling, I thought, cost them multiple points. You look at the decision just to kick the field goal, I think goes down as bad play calling. You're on, I believe it was the 38 of the Cowboys, and you attempt a 55-yard field goal where your kicker just missed the 43. And even if he didn't miss that, I wouldn't have tried a 55-yard field goal with Dustin Hopkins. He misses, gives Cowboys a short field. They go down and score. Now you're down 17-3. These were just one of the many mistakes I felt Jay Gruden did, whether it was play calling, deciding. You can look at late in the first half, they were down 17-3. They actually got a field goal, but they should have got a touchdown. Pierre Garçon makes a nice catch down to the 2-yard line, 20-something seconds left. They run up to their line, and they don't call a play. They can't spike it as it is third down. If they spike it, it will be fourth, and then they're stuck, so they can't spike it. They decide not to use the timeout. Okay, fine. Go up, call a play. I remember Ben Roethlisberger a couple weeks prior ran up to the 2-5, I think it was like a 5-yard line, did a little signal to Brown, did a fake spike, touchdown. I'm not saying they should do a fake spike, but have a play called. You cannot, in a no-huddle situation with 25 seconds left in the half, run up to the line of scrimmage and just stand there for 10 seconds looking around like what the hell we're supposed to do. And they eventually called a timeout with 10 seconds left, but when there's only 10 seconds and you have no timeouts, on third down, you're not allowed to run the ball, because if you do, and you don't get in, you don't have enough time to kick the field goal. So it was an obvious passing situation. They throw the ball, incomplete, and they're stuck with a field goal. And I know you guys say that's not a big play, but I think it is. If you have better clock management, I think you score. When you get down to the 2-yard line in the NFL, you should score touchdowns. And that was the difference to me. look at the final score. Washington were able to put up 20 in the fourth quarter. They were able to score like that in the first. I believe they win this game. Yardage-wise, more yards than the Cowboys, especially passing. Cowboys more rushing, but Redskins more total yards, more passing yards. Won the time of possession. I believe actually neither team had turnovers, which is something you don't see in an NFL game, but neither team turned the ball over. So I actually think the scoreline or the box score can be deceiving because as Dallas were winning comfortably at one point, I felt Kirk Cousins stat-wise played well, but him along with Jay Gruden, their red zone efficiency and play calling is what to me cost the Redskins this game today. Comment down below if you agree with me. Cowboys fans, how do you feel about this 10-1 record? Me, I'm happy, but I think this is just another game that proves we're not the Patriots. We're not just head and shoulders above. The Redskins, I think, are on our level, and they showed that today. We're 10-1, they're 6-4-1, but this division is not over, and Cowboys fans, slow your roll. We are not Super Bowl favorites. I still have Seattle over us. I still have Patriots over us. We might be contenders, but with a rookie quarterback, you never know. Prescott had another solid game, 17 for 24, about 200 yards, and I believe he threw a touchdown, a nice catch by Terrence Williams. Almost forgot about that catch. Shout out to T. Will for a great catch. But overall, I feel like Cowboys did enough to win, but I felt Redskins left a lot of points on the table and could have made my prediction come through if they scored touchdowns instead of field goals. That's how you win in the NFL and also not miss field goals. And I didn't even get in. I forgot one last point. The onside kick by Jay Gruden, another ridiculous decision, giving the Cowboys another short field. Cowboys got 14 points of onside kicks and missed field goals, which gave them touchdowns. I'm done. Cowboys win 31-26. Jay Gruden, what are you doing? And that'll wrap up my recap of the Thanksgiving Day game. Sorry, guys, I won't do a recap of the Colts-Steelers game as I see the Steelers winning easily. And there's no point me staying up late, doing it, sending it out when the Steelers will win easily. If you guys want to see one, I might do one, but Steelers will win easily. Comment down below what you thought of my the Vikings and Lions matchup early in the day and the Redskins-Cowboys game that just happened right now. Like, comment, share with your friends. I'll be looking forward to doing more of these in the future.